Hello friends, welcome back to Trade for Living. Today we are going to discuss about the most important lessons or most important mistakes that every trader does, especially beginners. We always should learn from others' mistakes. We have very limited time to live in this earth, and if we start to do all mistakes, then of course our life will be a big failure. So trading also the same pattern. This rule is applied for the trading scenario also. Mostly the beginners who is entering to the field used to do some mistake that is completely avoidable. So what are those mistakes? I would say the first thing, most of the traders lose money just because availing the leverage. So I'll always try to avoid leverage. But I won't say you always need to avoid leverage, because sometimes we need to avoid leverage because market may be straightforward, or it will be so much bullish, or it will be giving a bearish trend. In that scenario, of course, we may need to use some leverage. But when we need to use leverage, or what is the golden rule that is applicable for avoiding leverage? As I told, I used a lot of leverage in my past trading life. Still I am using leverage. So the difference is, when I started trading, that is I started trading in 2010, 2011 time. Okay, now 2019. So in 2011, 2012, even I was not able to make money, not able to make regular income using cash trades. Okay, so I would say without making success, or without completing the graduation using the cash trade, I would say CNC, cash and carry. I would say, one person who is entering to the trade, his matriculation is something like trades using the cash, and his graduation is, I would say, options. His master graduation is futures, something like that. Or you can convey as per your views. So I would say, without making much money or much progress in CNC, cash and carry, or trades using cash, I entered into options. I made a lot of losses due to the unlimited leverage, because using 1 or 2 lakh rupees, I used leverage up to 5 to 6 lakhs. Then suddenly market got crashed. My broker sold out all the amount. I can't blame my broker, because they also need to protect themselves, right? So I always try to avoid leverages. In fact, I recovered all my losses, and nowadays trading is my other mode of income, or I will be able to survive, probably with the grace of God. I may be able to survive with the trading. So I would say there are some lessons, there are some hurdles that we all may go through. Okay, in most of the videos I used to tell, we need to learn from our mistakes plus others' mistakes. We used to hear that we always need to learn from our mistake, and we shouldn't repeat our mistake. I would say one more thing, we must learn from our mistake. In addition that, we should learn from, or we should have the mentality to learn from others' mistakes also. Why I am saying is, whoever is doing trading, or whoever is an expert in trading, or whoever is having more than 5 plus or 10 plus years of experience in trading, they will be having some stories. Probably you may be knowing the person who is able to survive 3 to 4 years. He may be a good trader, or he may be able to have some success in trading, success in his trading life. That's a truth. That's a global fact, I would say. So always try to have a discussion with your gurus, or the person who is having more experience in trading market, because as I told, they might have gone through all the hurdles, all the challenges, all the losses, everything. While telling the losses, I heard from a lot of my gurus. I have a lot of gurus, of course. Probably you also maybe have some gurus. So my gurus used to say, Srikumar, whatever the loss you suffered, or whatever the loss happened to you, that we need to consider as a fee to the market, right? You may lose 1 lakh, you may lose 2 lakh, you may lose 10,000, or you may lose 1,000 rupees. It's depending on our risk taking capacity, or our money management capacity, whatever it is. So I myself paid some fees to the market, right? So everybody used to pay some fees to the market. That is what is called the loss. In other words, some husbands used to say, philosophy, after marriage they will be energetic, they will be harsh bush people, but after marriage they used to say, life is something like a train. We need to be very slow, or we need to adjust all of those things, because there will be some issues in their life. Of course, they need to understand, they need to struggle, they need to suffer a lot, or they need to adjust a lot. That's why they are saying, they started to saying philosophy and all. Same way, we traders also having some philosophy. Of course, everybody will be saying, boss, I lost this money because I consider this money or this much amount that I lost in stock market as the fees that I gave to stock market. So my dear friends, if you are a newcomer, if you are a beginner to the trading life, try to avoid this philosophy, try to learn from others' mistakes. I am also telling a few of my experiences I am sharing with you. Probably you may be able to learn from my mistakes also. So as I told, I think this is going a bit lengthy. Anyway, so first thing I told is leverage. Hopefully you might be able to understand what is leverage. Leverage is something like a loan type thing. If you are having 1 lakh, probably you will be getting 5 or 10 times amount to trade. That is what is called leverage. This leverage can be considered as a loan also, right? Because some people used to take loan for trading. I know a lot of people who used to take loans for trading, and finally they end up with full loss. I know personally a lot of guys. So never ever use leverage or loan, or never ever borrow money from friends or relatives or from strangers also for trading. So avoid that, and try to do trading with your own money. If you are having 100 rupees, spend that 100 money and do your own trades. If you are having 1000 rupees, using that 1000 rupees, try to do your trades. Don't borrow money for trading. That is one thing. Another thing is, sometimes we used to trade without a proper plan, because every day there will be 9:15, or every day there will be 9 o'clock or 3:30 p.m. right? Some guys are there. Even I was in that stage. Before a couple of years, what I was doing is, what the blunder I was doing is, whenever there is 9 o'clock or 8:45, I used to go there and I pick there and here, Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland, this one, that one, TCS, Infosys, everything. I don't know what is happening, what is the trend, is the IT is performing, IT sector is performing, is the vehicle sector is performing, I don't know. I will be buying some Tata Motors, I will be buying some Ashok Leyland, such things. So that's what I'm saying. Always try to analyze a sector. In short, we can say we must have a proper trading plan in place. Otherwise, we are going to lose everything. So if you are going to buy something, say some FMCG sector, okay, or vehicle sector, that's very simple. I would say Ashok Leyland or Maruti or Motherson Sumi or Tata Motors. So these are some good shares. Fundamentally, these are pretty stronger. Okay. But before buying Tata Motors or Ashok Leyland or whatever it is, whatever stocks that we discuss here, we should think about the sector behind it. Because Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland, these all coming from the vehicle sector. So we need to see how the vehicle sector is performing. If the vehicle sector is performing well, then only we need to consider Tata Motors to buy or Ashok Leyland to buy. Okay. If globally vehicle sales data is coming out and the vehicle sale rate is keep on decreasing, then there is no meaning to go and buy Tata Motors, because Tata Motors' value is falling, or Ashok Leyland's share price is falling gradually. We will think, oh, it's the best time to buy. Ashok Leyland was 150, now it is 65 or 55. I need to buy. No, that's the biggest mistake. Always analyze the sector information or the sector trend or the sector's trend. Then only, if the trend is positive, go for a buy. If the trend is negative, then go for a short. Again, I am saying short and long and all, but whenever you take a long or short, long in the sense, hopefully you may be knowing it. If a few of my friends are not knowing the term like short and long, short mean we will be able to short some shares which is not in our hand, right? Say I'm not holding any shares of Ashok Leyland, but I can short, I can sell this X number of Ashok Leyland shares without holding it. That is what is called short sell. And long, of course, I am buying 100 shares of Ashok Leyland or 1 share of Ashok Leyland or 10 share of Ashok Leyland. I am planning to sell it on tomorrow or another day or another week. That is what is called long. Okay. So what I am saying is, depending on the trend of the sector, we should prepare our trading plan. So tomorrow onwards, always try to analyze sector. If you are buying some vehicle share like Motherson Sumi or Ashok Leyland or Tata or Eicher Motors, whatever it is, try to analyze what is the global situation of the vehicles. Nowadays global situation is a bit poor, so vehicles sales rate is getting reduced, and there are a lot of recession information is there, so it may not be good to go and buy some shares which is related to the vehicle. So while telling the trend, probably you may be knowing how the trend is learned, right? If you don't know how to draw the trend, you can refer my another video that is in Malayalam. So trend is very easy to learn. Only thing is we need to take the data of 1 week or 1 day or 1 month data and try to connect the higher highs. I mean there will be three consecutive highs or 3 consecutive lows. So try to join those lines, those spikes using a single line. So then we will be getting some trend information. So this is not the correct method of explanation. So probably you will be able to understand the trend, or probably you may be knowing the trends. So as per the trend, try to enter trades or avail trades. That's one important thing. Another thing is, while telling the trend itself, there are 2 ways. If the trend is positive, always go for a long. Okay, if the trend is positive and you got a sudden spike, sudden fall, then probably we will be tempting to sell it or short it. So never do that. That's why I'm saying always have a proper plan. Try to see the trend, then accordingly trend in the sense sectorial trend as well as the concerned shares trend. The vehicle's trend will be positive, then only we can go for buying the Shukra Land or Tata Motors or Eicher Motor Mortgages. So that is one thing. And same way, if the trend is negative, just leave it or go for short. Again, the short and long, those things are completely related to each other. And another factor we need to consider is support and resistance. As I told, we discussed about leverage, or we discussed about trend and all. So whenever we are taking a long or short, we always need to consider the support and resistance. So you might be heard about support and resistance 100 times in videos, in blogs, in books and all, and I'm not going to explain what is support and resistance, but still I'm saying we must understand, or we should have the complete idea about the support of a particular share. Say, on recent example, I would say, recently now in our, we have a WhatsApp channel, okay, mostly it's in Malayalam. So in that channel, one person was telling he bought some shares of Godrej Properties at the price of 1050 rupees, and today is 26th of November. Okay, today's price is 860, something like that. Then I was not noticing that one. Then I checked. Its support was see, everybody will be having their own criteria to determine support and resistance. So while checking, we found that his support is something like 850, but he went and purchased at the price level of 1050. He's in huge loss. And I think around 500-600 shares are there. So always, whenever if the trend is positive, also always try to avoid buying shares in its 52-week high or 52-week low. That's another point. My dear friends, I am telling these points not in an ordered way. Whatever getting, I am just telling. Okay. So try to avoid purchasing shares or shorting shares at its 52-week high or 52-week low. That's one thing. Why? Because you may be thinking, if it is 52-week high, there is a possibility to get higher. Of course, there is a possibility. In that case, and if you 100% want to buy shares in its 52-week high, and because you are analyzing the trend, you are analyzing the sectorial growth, and you are analyzing the global facts and everything, and the funda and technical everything, and you are sure that the shares price will go up, of course you can go and buy it. But my humble suggestion is always try to keep a stop loss. Stop loss is God sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times stop loss is a God. So always keep a stop loss for shorting, as well as if you're taking position also, always keep a stop loss in your mind. And stop loss, putting stop loss is depending on each and everyone's risk taking capacity, so decide accordingly. Another thing is, without having regular success in cash and carry trades, I mean, whenever we trade using cash market, you know, right? So if you're not an expert or not a good player in cash market, or if you're not able to make good money in cash and carry option, never go for futures and options. My dear friends, you don't believe, I have a lot of friends who lost even bungalows, cars, houses, everything because of the futures and options. Because the futures and options is entirely two different sectors. So I'm not deeply going to the futures and options, because there's a concept actually. Because I also did these mistakes. In initial period of time, I used to buy future, 1 lot, 2 lot, 3 lot. I used to buy options. I would say on story where I lost a lot of money because I was buying Tata Motors options. Okay, it was something like 13 rupees. Then suddenly I bought it at 10:30 something like. Then 12:30 it was around. From 14 it went to 6. Again I added. I thought, oh, I will average, and end of the day I may be getting good profit. You know, my dear friends, that went up to 65 paise. The 14 rupees shares went up to 65 paise. So what is the lesson? What the lesson I learned is never ever try to average any options, any future contracts or option contracts, even in stocks also. Because if you place a proper stop loss in place, we don't need to worry about these things. I will tell an example. Tata Motors was 450 or 500 before almost 1 or 2 years. Okay, you don't believe, few of my friends still carrying thousands of Tata Motors. Their average price maybe something like 300, but their initial price was 400. What mistake they did is, even I did in some stocks. I used to average a falling stock. So the thing is, if you are putting a knife down, if you are putting down a knife, right, we'll try to catch it. Our hand will get injured, right? Blood will come out. Of course, our total body will get pained. That's what happens if you try to catch a falling knife. The same thing, if a share's price is coming down, never ever try to average it. I would say never ever try to average a falling stock. If it is falling, there will be a point, right? It will come down, then there will be some support. There we should know the technical analysis as well as fundamental analysis. Mostly technical analysis will help you out. So let it come down. It will, after reaching the particular point, it will start to swing or sideways. You know, right? Sideways and swing. So once it stop the falling, it will start to reverse. That time we may need to average. Okay, probably we may not be getting the praise in its bottom level, but somehow above that level we will be able to get some spikes. So from that level you can keep on adding by small quantities. Okay, otherwise never ever average a falling stock or falling option contract or future contract. That will destroy all of your wealth. Another important thing is, if you are a newcomer or if you are a beginner in stock trading, always try to invest only 70% of your free money. Say I have 1,000 rupees, then I should invest only 700 rupees for investment. Say I have 1 lakh, I should invest only 70,000 rupees. I have 1 crore, I should invest only 75 lakh. So this is the thing, we should invest only 75% or 70% of the free money to the, because after our entry the share price may come down. That time we may be able to average those scripts or shares. That's why we are using that 25% of cash. What will happen if we spend all the 100% of money to invest in share market? Because if the shares are falling, if the market is cracking down, then we will not be having any money to average. We need to sit idle. We can't do anything, right? That is one of the important things. So always invest only 75% of the free money to share market and keep 25% with you. That's an important lesson. If you trust me, you try to follow this. Otherwise, probably you may need to, or we may need to face a lot of problems. Another factor is, or another truth is, I would say truth. If a person is able to survive in the stock market for more than 3+ years, I would say he will be a successful trader. Because 80% of the traders used to quit within 3 years or even 3 months. So if you are able to trade for a period of 3+ years, then only you can consider that you are fit for the job, right? Of course, trading is a good thing. Only thing is we need to consider a lot of factors. We should have a lot of knowledge, etc. And another important point is, if you want to make some good amount, or if you want to have some regular income from the trading, we should follow some rules. Rules in the sense, we should follow some best habits. That's the correct term, I would say. We should try to learn, or we should read newspapers, business dailies, at least CNBC or Profit Plus channels or CNN channels, and try to understand what's happening around us, what's happening in the world. All things we need to understand. At least we should be aware of what's happening. Okay, there's a possibility of war between North Korea and the US, or Japan and North Korea, or China and Russia, or US, whatever it is. So we should and we don't need to do trades on every day. We need to trade selectively. That is one important thing. So we always need to learn the global news and market, and we should act accordingly. Then again, as I told, we always need to keep support and resistance. So I'm planning to conclude these few things because the video is getting broader. So never try to use leverage or try to limit the leverage to your risk taking capacity. Always try to analyze the sector trend as well as the script that you are going to buy. Always follow support and resistance rules. Then never ever borrow money from friends or relatives for trading, and always have your risk capacity in your mind. Always try to listen news or read books or newspapers, and always should have some current affairs information with us, and try to read some books, some good books about the technical analysis as well as fundamental analysis. I am not saying we need to keep on reading books, but at least some idea we should get, at least how to draw the trend lines for the what I can say, to knowing the bullish period or bearish trend. We should know those things, and try to be in discussion with some of your experienced friends or gurus, whatever it is, and try to acquire some knowledge. Channel, if you like this video, please comment, please suggest, and if you would like to have some topics to be discussed, please write down here or mention the post, so that I will try to prepare some the portions for you in my next videos. So I will be coming with another interesting topics. So aduvarikum, goodbye.